Former Medtronic Chairman and CEO Bill George is doubling down on leadership wisdom in his new book, True North, Emerging Leaders, which includes stories from 220 interviews spanning from emerging to senior leaders. He joins us in studio now to discuss. Bill, good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yahoo Finance. It's been a while. Good
Yeah.
to see you. So take us through this book. What made you write it? And who is getting leadership right now in corporate America?
Well, we're going through a massive change in leadership right now from the baby boomer generation, which have ruled the roost with command and control for the last 30 years, to the emerging leaders, Gen X, Millennials, Gen Z. I think it's overdue. We're overdue for a change because today's employees, young leaders, and customers are looking for a different style of leadership. They want to be empowered. They want to find some kind of alignment between their purpose and the company's purpose, the values. They don't want to work in an organization that discriminates against anyone for any reason. And they're concerned about issues like climate change. And if the senior leaders in the old baby boomer generation are just going to direct them and tell them what to do, they'll leave. We've seen that with the Great Resignation. So that's why I wrote the book and interviewed a lot of emerging leaders and also some forerunners of the new way of thinking. People like Mary Barra at General Motors and Paul Pullman at Unilever, who's the advocate for sustainability. So I'm very excited about the book. I think it's, honestly, modestly speaking, I think it's my best book yet.
That's great. You know, it's been a pleasure to follow your career the past 15 years. And what I've always liked about you, you tell it like it is. So I went to your Twitter account this morning, and I think you said that Mark Zuckerberg, he doesn't get it. What doesn't he get from a leadership perspective? And what does he need to change?
Facebook and Mark are not grounded in values, so he's all over the map. As Jim Burke once said, when you don't know your true north, you'll swim in chaos. And they are. So he's over here one day, over there the next. I think an organization needs to be clearly say, this is what we stand for. You may disagree, but this is what this company stands for. And I think he really has hurt a lot. And frankly, young people are moving away from Facebook.
Does he need to listen to his team more? Is that one thing that he could do to fix things?
Yes, Mark got rid of his team. I mean, he used to have Cheryl there. He had some senior mentors on the board. He pushed them all out. He's got a group of young people that are more like Mark's followers. So I think it's too bad that Mark really is derailing right in real time. And I think, frankly, the wealth went to his head. You know, when you start chasing money and being the wealthiest guy around, that's, you know, we've seen the dangers of that. So he's got to realize he's got to have a site. This was a site for social connections, and now he's going to take it away and be like TikTok. I mean, give me a break, you know?
Yeah, I would wonder as well your perspective on and what you've also studied around where diversity can also make, especially at the executive level in companies that are now understanding the range of customers that they serve, the range of employees that they have as well, where that needs to also be prioritized within organizations.
Well, you have to have diversity, but that's not sufficient. You have to have an inclusive organization. And if people don't feel like I'm fully included, my opinions are just, you're not looking at me for the color of my skin, my gender, my national origin, my sexual identity. No, I am who I am. And I want to be who I am in this organization. And so I want to be accepted for that. And if I don't feel included, I'll leave. Yeah. Okay? And a lot of baby boomer leaders didn't get that. They're kind of looking at people for the externals. And I think that's all got to change. So I think the key is not, we have diversity. And frankly, young people I know, I mean, they accept people for who they are. They say, that's your thing, this is mine, you know?
Absolutely.
It's okay, you know? I love you who you are, and you can have different points of view. And that's what organizations have to, and they have to change radically in that regard. Not just a little, but a lot.
Absolutely.
Bill, full disclosure, I'm an aging millennial. I'm always looking to improve my leadership. My career is changing. I'm in a different place now than I was 10, 15 years ago. What should I be doing to become a better leader so that I'm in a different chair, different spot 20 years from now?
Well, I'm assuming you have a pretty good idea who you are, what your values, your principles, and your beliefs are. And then share those with people. Be open, be empowering of other people. Realize they don't want you to exert power over them. They want you to be empowering, that you appreciate them for what they contribute. Build a team around you. You know, you don't have to have a title to build a team. And I think the new model of leadership today is a coach model. That first people won't work with you unless they know you care about them. And then you got to organize them into where they're best, their strengths, just like a coach would, and align them around a common purpose and values. And if you can do that, but there's nothing wrong with challenging people. I believe, I'm very challenging. I believe in challenging everyone to reach their full potential. You know, you can do better. You can keep growing. Don't stop growing now. And then finally, get out there and work with your people. I think too many CEOs are sitting up in their offices on the top floor with their C-suite people having meetings. We found a study at Harvard Business School, they spend 68% of their time in meetings. Why? Get out in the front lines. Who was it that saved us in COVID? It was the frontline people. Your front line. Those are the people that count. You know, we flipped the organization chart upside down and put the front line on top, and everyone there is to support them.
When you think about the environment right now and the number of macroeconomic conditions that have been cited from leadership, from executives, whether that's earnings related or whether that's just how their business is doing right now, there's also this larger question of where they also have to keep in mind the fiduciary duty that they have to investors and acting in good faith there. But at the same time, what would your messaging be if you were still leading a company through this time? Right?
We have to serve the needs of all of our stakeholders, first of our customers. And that's what motivates our employees. At Medtronic, people are not motivated by making $3.91 a share. They're motivated by restoring people to full life and health. That's what excites them. And so that's where the innovators come from, the people in the production line where quality is everything, people supporting the doctors. Get everyone motivated around that, and then you'll create sustainable shareholder value. Not the kind of stuff we've seen in some of these organizations that go up and down like a yo-yo, kind of like AMC Entertainment. I mean, have sustainable share, and then and I think that's what it takes. And be an organization that cares about your community and the people you serve.
Since you mentioned that, I wonder what you do think about the CEOs that are cozying up to the new cohort of investors that are hopping into the fray, that are chatting about their shares all the time.
Well, I think they ought to be cozying up to their customers and focusing more on that. I think hyping your stock is a real danger. I've seen Jeff Immelt tried to do that. He buys back $50 billion in stock and they can't make the dividend at GE. I think just focusing on short-term shareholder things, that's what caused General Motors going into bankruptcy. So you got to focus on the long term. And yeah, I want to have a broad, diverse investor base. I love retail investors. I want them to come and buy Medtronic stock, but only because they're looking for a long-term gain. Playing that market is really dangerous stuff, I tell you.
Yeah, a lot of wisdom here on the desk this morning. Bill George, who is the former Medtronic chairman and CEO, joining us here. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be with you.
Definitely got to have you back.